Here we are. We are back with episode 21 of The Pit. Today we are joined by very special guest, the revived gaming owner, Nathan. How are we today, Nathan?
Doing great. Excited to be here. Finally getting on the show. We made it work, and we've had a couple of chances. We got close, and then we had to change, and so glad to actually be here.
Yeah, it's just been a crazy season, which you've been invested in since day one of the year. So I guess flow straight into segment one. We've got get to know revived gaming as a whole. So specifically, why EU Call of Duty challenges? Why step into it?
So we worked with NA and uh like before challengers even and stuff within NA, and it's kind of always been extremely stressful. And the roster manias just hit like more, and there's more toxicity, and the teams last a day, whereas in EU teams will last a week. Like even if that doesn't seem like a lot more, it gives you a lot more time to kind of work. And so during world no during BO4, I was working. We had merged orgs with a different one called Dream Conspiracy because I couldn't do it on my own at the time. So I was the esports director there, and after the first event, we were looking to pick up a better team, and we decided we were going to put actual money into it. Like instead of just jerseys and team pass, we were going to actually like go all in. And so they were like, get a roster that's inside of top 32 and bring them to us. And I was like, okay. So I bring two rosters to their attention. We had a team with Hamza, so Glow Frosty.
Yep.
At the time, it was Storied, Paulex, and Return. And so three of those players no longer play. Oh, and Drama was on that team, so I think Story retired like the day after we talked to him. But anyways, those four like West Coast players, and they're good, and obviously Glow Frosty really good now too. Hamza, like big, big fan of him. He's great. And the other team was Singularity before they became Singularity.
Oh,
And so I had talked with Jed, and we talked the pricing, and it was right within our range. And so I told the org, and I was like, guys, these are the two choices. I would say this EU team, one, will have more monopoly over that side, like where they're going to have a bigger fan base, they're a bigger team over there, and they're only asking for this, this, and this. And it's actually in our price range, and it's the same thing we have to pay to get these guys, and they're here. We wanted to go with Singularity, or I did, before they were. The other team, the org didn't. Butted heads over it, signed the other team. They broke up 2 days later. We had to void their contracts, and Singularity won or got like fourth the next event, and then continued being in the top four the rest of the season and winning money. And I was like, yeah, I'm done. So I quit that uh, org, and then I coached for the rest of that year. But because of that, I had been knew Jed, and so I'd talk to him at every event. Him and Luke. Um, so like at Fort Worth when I went to coach a different team that was not very good, but they were paying me to coach them, so it was cool. I just talked to Tane the whole time, so I just talked to Jed and Luke, and I was like, man, what could have been? Uh, so yeah, so last year I messaged Jed again, and I was like, before Texas, I was like, hey, do you need an org? Like, I know what you're capable of. I need a team. And so ever since then, tapping into the EU market has always been better for me. We made the elite after Texas, um, which I had never had a team make. We didn't do well, but yeah, so that's pretty much what got us into EU.
the elite's a big stage to be on from like a brand point within the current ecosystem. Like you actually get some official streams, like your logos everywhere, your names everywhere. So highly beneficial. It's like where you want. I think that's the level that you realistically need to achieve as like a baseline now in challenges,
Yep,
especially if you're half funding, full fund, whatever. Like you need a team in that elite. So I don't know. I love it. And
100%.
I do have one question. Revived Gaming. I
Yeah.
always ask this to all owners. Why the name Revived Gaming? Is there a backstory
So
behind it?
there is,
Yeah.
there is. So me and my brother used to play Call of Duty. We still kind of do, but I don't play quite as much anymore because I'm so invested in it that I suck, and it just makes me mad to play. And like when I say I suck, I actually mean it. Like watching you, you're like, "Oh, I suck," and I'm like, "No, no, no, I suck." But we used to play, and I competed back in like Black Ops 2 all the way up to World War 2. I tried to come back during World War 2, and it was trash. But during AW, me and my brother were playing and competing, and so we were like, we need like a team name, and we knew about clans back in like when we were in clans, like during Black Ops 2, and so we were like, you know what, let's like think of something. And so during that time, during AW, a super popular team was TR, which I'm pretty sure was True Revenge. But like Nagafin and all those guys were
Yeah.
on it. And I loved the way the logo looked with the way it was snapped together, almost like the N and V and NV. And so I was like, you know what? Maybe I can like look through the alphabet and just try to find some letters that might go together and then also like make a name out of it. And so I thought like, well, what would look cool is like a lowercase r with a big V, but like the V is connected through the R. And then my brother was like, well, let's Revived. Like that's perfect, easy. It has to do with parts of Call of Duty, like Revive Gaming. And I was like, okay, let's do it. So we did it. We got a graphics artist to like make the first rendition, which while I'm talking, let me see if I can pull it up because the first one was it was rough.
It's a painful process, isn't it? Logo
Yeah,
creation.
it took a while for it to get the good one. I don't even know if I have like I might have deleted it. It was so bad. Um, but yeah, so we were just like, all right. And then like when I truly started it, yeah, it looks like I deleted it. It was rough though. It was like a circle with a R that was too big and it was connected and through like a loop. I don't know. It was rough. It looked like a snake. But yeah, so then when I kind of like decided to do it on my own and keep that, I tried to bring my brother in, but he was kind of didn't care about COD anymore. So he's like, yeah, whatever, you just do it. So now he's like, man, we created this, and I was like, we did, but like it's just me though.
No,
So that's where Revive Gaming comes from.
no, that's quality. Like owner wise, background staff wise, at the minute, is it just currently yourself?
Yeah, so for the whole iteration of Revived Gaming, it has been me and only me running it at every part. So any tweet, anything, it's all been me. I've tried to add people, but every time I have, the clashing of minds has been too great, I guess, and or they don't want to follow exactly what I'm saying. And when it comes to this, I guess I'm a pretty particular person. And so until I find someone that truly gets it the same way I do, I don't want to bring them on. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's hard when you've created something and like it's your baby, right? You've got your aim
Yeah.
and vision for it, and then if someone's not on that same direction, it's hard to work with, even if money's involved. Like there's a huge benefit to it. It's like I want to do this, this, and this, so let's do it my way. But I was like,
Yeah.
some organizers they go down the route of where there's 4 or 5 of them, and others. I mean, you hear it from like Jack. He's like, no, I quite like being the only one. I like that the final decision is on me. If there's a mistake, it's on me. So
Yep. Yep.
uh, quality. What would you say
Uh,
is Revive's biggest achievement to date?
uh, man, that's a good question. I mean, so we have never won a LAN or anything. We've gotten second twice at a Cali locals. One of the teams had Hamza was on it, so Glow Frosty and Darkside. Um, and we lost in the finals against Venom, Paul X, and two others. And so that sucked. I really thought we were going to get our win last year during that. But I was probably getting sixth this year in the elite, and then having like during the CDL mainstream them bring up the Europe like placings for the elite, like having our logo on that, like not only it saying fifth, sixth, like that's awesome, but like in front of when I was checking, it was like 10 to 15,000 people were looking. I'm like, now, do they really know and pay attention? Maybe not that much, but they saw the logo. Like, that's a pretty cool thing. So that's probably the highest achievement we've had. So,
No, yeah. It's a good feeling when you finally get on that like mainstream somewhere and you're like you see the graphic and it's like, come on, we've got the belief we can do this.
well, I was standing up in my like I had it on the like big TV and I didn't know it was happening, but I just happened to be off that day, so I just had it up there because I was doing stuff on my phone and I saw it and I just stood up, just screaming, yelling. I was so excited. I was like, "You gotta be kidding me!" So I was pretty happy about that.
No, quality. Um, other one I've got for you
Mhm.
is Revived solely just going to be a Call of Duty esports team, or have you already branched into other games, or are you looking to?
So we have worked with Overwatch really long time ago, like at the very beginning. CS:GO we did, and then Gears of War we did. And so Gears of War is probably the one we did the most, where we like actually had traction. Like we had a team that almost made the Pro League twice. Yeah. We had two different LATAM teams, and they got one spot away from getting Pro League twice. So that was the closest thing, but there's always like the thought of getting into a different esport. What's hard is that since it is just me, I truly only really love COD.
Yeah,
Like, so for me to be invested in the other esports, it does have to be lucrative, and COD isn't in some ways. Like a lot of the time, it's not, but like other ones really aren't either. Like you can make it work, and there are ways to find ones that are, but like I'd also have to really be invested, and so at the time, not necessarily, but I'm not opposed to like getting an Apex team or something.
yeah, no, for sure. Like, you have to be like really well clued up, right, with just the game itself, let alone the whole structure of it. So it's like the amount of time that takes, and like I say, it's just yourself. Like you stick to what you love, and well,
Yep.
we hope you keep all your focus here in EU challenges. To be honest, we don't want you to go anywhere. So let's keep you away from other esports. But I'm itching to get into the next one, segment two, the Modern Warfare 3 Miami Open, which you were lucky enough to attend. I'm slightly jealous. So let's just
It
start
was
with obviously
awesome.
you had the roster of Keza Pack, F Dot, and Twisted. I mean, what
hmm
was the expectation heading into the event with that team?
So I won't even like beat around the bush. Like we wanted to get close to top eight at least. Like that was something we had all talked about. We thought we could make the next jump. So at Austin, we got T16, which is the highest placing that our org has ever gotten at a major. And so I was thrilled with that. The guys were pissed. And felt like it wasn't good enough. And I'm sitting there like, I know that we could have done better, but like it was pretty good. But they particularly voiced that that was more closer to what they were wanting to get and felt like the opportunity would be there. And so going into it, that was kind of what we were hoping for.
Hmm. No, it's fair enough. I think you touched on the Boston one. Like that for me was when I was like, damn, Revive really have put a decent squad together. Like they know what they're doing. Like they're already here. That Boston event. I mean, we saw it. Like they've not got top 12. War got top 12. I mean, knocked them with a top 16. Like Revive, I think in everyone's expectations before that were like slightly below them teams, and like to get a similar placement to them, I think they had a really good events. And I was
Yeah.
personally shocked of when like it was all carnage. Like they were all fuming. I was like, lads, you've done pretty well. Like you're gonna wake up tomorrow and like, well, in my thought, you're going to be pretty happy with yourselves. But I talked
That's
to
what I
Chunk
thought
still to
too.
this day, and he's still pissed about it. So I don't know. I
Yeah.
guess they're just winners at heart, aren't they? But
Yeah. They just nothing is settles until they win. Like that's all they care about.
no,
So yeah.
game's the game. But I mean, yeah, in the winners round four game, you lost to Boston Academy, which dropped you into the losers side. Is there anything?
hmm
Because it was a pretty close series, right? Was there any one key moment in that series where if something different had happened, do you think you could have won it?
Yeah. Yeah, I do. So, and like, it's not, there won't be blame. I have no idea who did what and what happened, but we play the hard point. They were better. We go to the search and destroy, like, they're yelling, like, during the hard point, they win, like, the first two rounds of S&D, and, like, Cammy clutched a 1v2, and he's standing up screaming at us. Nathan Pentagram standing up, he's screaming, and I was like, all right was like, let's figure this out. And like they're not phased. Like I think they were laughing that he was yelling. Like it was a bad clutch that they let happen. Well, we win round 11 and it's 1-1, and I'm like, all right, like we're back in this, we're fine. Then the control happens, and the control is like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Well, we end up on offense. No, I can't. I think we ended up getting defense, and I think it's invasion. Let me check.
We'll have it somewhere.
I
That's for sure.
yeah, it's like I have it. I'm pretty sure it's invasion. We had it pretty much set up, and we have it stopped, and we're good, and we're up in lives. and we make a play, and I truly can't remember if we're on offense or defense, but we either cleared out the point or we had all just got on the point, and somebody overchowed and got killed. And as they got killed, somebody else tried to get that, like, trade the kill instead of just staying, and then they died, and so then they had spawned closer than us to either the point to defend or on be on off. I can't remember, but that overchow was what made us lose. And like we should have won that 3-2, and so we ended up losing 2-3, and then we played them on their best map, which is Rio Hardpoint, and they just curb stomped us. And so as soon as it went like that map started, and what's crazy is that the kills were close. Like I think they outslayed us by 5,
Wow.
and we lost 250 to 80 something.
Well, that
Like
surprises me because like your
yeah,
team's not inefficient at collecting hill time or do anything I've picked
yes.
up on anyway. So
So
well,
yeah, Boston Academy at Rio Hardpoint is insane. Like their pressure is crazy. They just put constant pressure and fly at you while they know that they're like Cammy and Shawnee are just in the right places, so they have no fear of making a mistake, and it's just in your face. So like you'll get a kill, but you never made progression on the map because they're just flying at you. So it is a bad mix for us. So that was what knocked us down to losers.
yeah. I mean they were one of the favourites heading into the tournament as well. I'm still like no insult to the 5 media boys, but I'm still like shocked now that 5 media managed to take them out of the winner's side of it. So I mean, yeah, if it's one of them games you look at, right? We lost to Boston Academy, like fair enough. The maps are close, we could have took it, and then you drop down into losers, in losers round 7, you got to, and you played IMX Notorious, which I believe was Temp and Co.
Yep.
Our good pals at Notorious, they managed to get themselves to the event, get their branding out there, and they had Temp and the boys. What was the vibe in that series? How close was that?
So Hardpoint first one was like 167 to 250. Like it was back and forth. They like just slowly expanded the lead towards the end. Like it was you could tell we weren't gonna win, but it was close. And then the search was not. They 6-0'd us. Everybody just kind of was looking at each other like, what are we doing? Like nobody was sure. And so it ended and we were like, well, that's over. So we get into the control and I'm sitting there like thinking, I'm just like, man, I'm really about to have to tweet out that we got 3-0'd and like it wasn't even close. Like that sucks. I thought I felt like we actually matched up well with them, truthfully. And I mean, it is 4 guys or 3 guys at least that were all in the pro. I mean,
Yeah,
Temp, Yuli, Two Real, all pro league, and then Flames, the guy that everybody thinks is close, if not ready. So I was like, I know that they're good, but I really felt like matchup wise we were good, and then we kind of smoked them in the control. Like it was 3-1, but like it should have been 3-0.
yeah. It's Karachi, wasn't it?
Um,
Yeah,
and so I was like, okay, like maybe we have a little fire back. Like maybe we can't make the reverse sweep. Like that would make me so happy. And so then we get into the uh hard point, and it's back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I mean like literally back and forth. And then at the end we finally get a rotation over on them and we go up to about 240 something to like 220. And I was like, all right, we did it. Like we're good. And then it's the same thing as that control. Somebody child out and somebody died in the back at the same time as the child out when we lose the spawns and spawn too far away. And so we lose 242, I think, to
yeah.
250.
Skid
And
Row. What hill did that end on Skid Row? Was it P1?
yeah,
Yeah.
so we like we should have won on the last hill, P5, and somebody so like Pack had to scoot up to get a kill, so he went through the like pallets on that left side. And so he's hiding behind it, and he sees the guy and he kills him through the pallets. Takes a second, but he killed him. But he was super one shot because the guy was shooting him too. And so I don't know if somebody threw a nade in or if they just shot through it again, and they killed him off the time, and it got the like last 8-10 seconds off because everybody else couldn't get there. So then it was just a scramble for P1, and we got there first, and we had it, and then like literally just like one, 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 and we're all dead. And I was like, nope. And so then they just had hall control, and we had to. I think we spawned Barber, and so we had to go up through that hallway, and so it was shocked, and so we lost. That was a brutal way to lose.
Yeah, I mean, might be a dumb question, but how bad were the vibes with the players afterwards?
Uh, I mean, I've been around when it's been worse. I mean, they were definitely upset.
Yeah.
We we went like they kind of sat there for a second and they were kind of like a couple of them were just like, "What the fuck are we doing?" Um, and then we all went outside and just talked about like, well, they were talking about it, and I just kind of sat there in silence because I was like, I mean, there's nothing I'm gonna add that's really gonna
Yeah, it's hard,
help,
bro.
and nobody wants to hear like a hey, like we gave it a good shot, and that wasn't how I was feeling at the moment either. I was like, yeah, that really we needed that one. So like I just kind of sat there and just thought about where we were and what happened and all the things that like could have went even worse or what could have happened. So I was just sitting there kind of thinking. I waited about 10 minutes before I said anything, and then I was like, well, I can't do anything about it now. So we can go back in, watch some other people. We can go home. We can do whatever. Um, and they were like, man, I don't even know what to say. I was like, well, it is what it is. I was like, I'm not gonna sit here and like pretend like I'm high and mighty and could have done better. Cause ain't no way I could have. So I'm not gonna sit here and make y'all feel bad for your placement. Like it is what it is.
Yeah,
So
you say it. What one day you're gonna win an event, look back on that and go, this win feels better now. No.
exactly.
Yeah, you got to take the rough with the smooth. And to be honest, I don't think it's a bad placement. Like, yeah, I think a top 12 or top 8, obviously, like would have been loads better. But top 16, like honestly, I think it's acceptable. I think it's about the placement of where possibly our top top 6 seeds could potentially fall in the event, which is how stacked the NA is. So the reason I asked the vibes is because like I think it was after one of the last 2Ks. I think your lads were streaming, and one of them didn't mute their comms after they went out the tournament, and there was just absolute chaos. And I was like, I wonder if they
Yeah.
bring that similar energy on a LAN environment, but it didn't sound like it. So
No, like they kind of Uh, honestly, they're real professional about it. I mean, like when we were winning in the rounds that we were supposed to win, like mainly just the first round. Like, I mean, there was no talking. Like it was just kind of do your comms, like be like, all right, fist bump, yeah. Like it was just very, very clinical. And then when the later rounds, it was a little more hype during some close hard points that we had. But um, when we lost, it was never like a scream at each other type thing. So it was solid.
good to hear. Good to hear. The Miami event. I mean, in general, like from the outsider, from sitting at home, the event, I'll be honest, did not look fantastic. Some of the players said to me when they've come back, like some pretty big names that have been to loads of events, have said that's my worst event I've ever been to. What was your vibe with it?
Yeah, I'm not gonna be on that boat, and so most people will disagree with me, and that's okay. I loved it.
Oh,
It felt old school vibes, like being inside of the same like room as the main stage. I thought it was cool. Like, and I'm sure as a player, like, it might have been hard to hear during some matches, but honestly, the crowd for Miami wasn't crazy, so like it wasn't that loud. Um, but I liked it now. The playing one match on Friday and then playing our second match on Saturday is crazy,
yeah,
but it is what it is. I liked it because I got to literally walk around and see every single game I wanted to see. There were only 8 stations, so there's only like 16 teams that could be playing. So I'm just sitting there. All right, I know this guy. I know this guy. That's a friend. That
yeah,
guy's in the U. I want to go see them play. So I mean, I got to watch pretty much everybody play 2 or 3 matches. And so I loved it. Not everything went perfect, but that's feels like that's what we say after every event. Like, oh man, like can't believe this went wrong. I can't. It happens every time. I don't know why we get surprised. We
yeah,
just you got to be able to roll with the punches. But I loved it. I was really excited we got to go and experience it. And even like some people were saying, oh, this event doesn't count. Like SGP got T24. Like this is a fake event. And I was like, well, it was real for me. Like and
yeah.
T16 and like watching Lore Gaming come back 4 straight maps in the final, like
Love that.
it's a pretty good event. And like the Omit and FaZe Clan series, like that was wild. Omit versus Boston, War versus FaZe Clan, like War should have won that. It should have been like they honestly should have been versus Omit, and whoever won that should have been playing Five Media Clan and probably gets revenge.
Yeah,
But
I, yeah, for me, whoever I said, on the day, whatever EU team can beat FaZe Black has the potential to win the entire thing, and like
Yep.
no EU team could beat it. So I don't know
I
because
just wish that War FaZe Clan match was on stream because that was the best game. I watched all of it.
yeah,
And it might even beat like the finals, and the finals was really good, so probably not, but it was right there. Like that control was the craziest game. I cannot believe that they lost that. And it wasn't like a thing that they did. Like they had three people, not three different people, but three times they fell off the map and they still should have won. Like, and that was like when the lives were like even the whole time. Each time they were like tied in lives, Beans fell off the map, Harry fell off the map, Beans fell off the map again, and it was like they were like bouncing off, like Beans bounced off the map. Like I don't know how to describe it. Like he'd like bunny hopped, and then his guy just like whoop, like fell out. It was wild to watch. And then the second time he did it, they were out of respawn, so he's out. And then they get it down to 2v1, and Bance is too far advanced forward, and so he tries to retract, and as he retracts, gets shot in the back. So instead, it's just Harry versus I think ended up being Brack, and Brack gets the first shots, and Harry tries to finesse a little bit and ends up getting an okay gunfight, but he loses, and I'm just like, man, like that should have been them.
I mean that's one of the big things for like games like that. Like I just wish they were on stream. Like I know how many like they've got so many PCs for this event that they've had sponsored for the year. They're just sitting there on boxes. Like just put another station on the end and like just put a stream up. Like I don't understand it. Like you don't even need to get the casters out there. Like you could have remote casters do it just with lobby codes, or you could not even have a caster at all. Just have it on screen somewhere. Like we don't need high production. I just wish all these games were streamed. To be honest, especially like
Yeah.
War versus FaZe Black. Like come on, Jesus Christ. Like maybe not the entire tournament. I understand logistics and that might not be possible. Like the top 16. Like why are they not on stream? I don't get it. Or like because they had the three main stations, right? I believe 1, 2, and 3 were next to each other. So like we had not have them three
Hmm.
on a stream. I
Yeah.
don't know. But if there was next year, if I could say to you, there's going to be 4 CDL locations. Would Miami be in there for you?
Uh, no.
No. Okay.
Like it was cool. Um, but I don't think, and it wasn't even in Miami. Like that's the thing. It's in Fort Lauderdale. Like, and the thing that CDL has to start figuring out is like thinking about like what time they're putting these places where their event is, because they do Boston in the winter. Stupid. They do Miami, Fort Lauderdale during spring break. Like these are the two of the worst choices. Like if you're gonna do those, do Boston during spring break and do Miami in the winter. Like what are we doing? So that sucked. Like when I got to the airport Friday night, no, Thursday night, I like get out of my plane and I was like, man, this is like dead. There's nobody here. And that's great. I'm gonna be able to get an Uber and get home. I walk outside of the airport and thousands. I'm not exaggerating. I don't mean hundreds. Like I know what hundreds of people look like. Thousands of people are waiting to get Ubers in this like little corner that's like a cul-de-sac. And I'm like, oh my God. I had to wait 30 minutes for an Uber to drive zero point 0.6 miles.
Wow.
And then my Uber costed $100 to go 20 minutes.
Stuff like that
I
doesn't
was
help, right?
I was so pissed. I told the guys, they were like, "Wait, it was $100." I said, "Yeah, it was $100." I was so mad. I was so furious. It sucked. So there's definitely things that sucked about it, but like I don't know, I was just excited to go to an event again, and to one that wasn't in Texas, because I hadn't gone to a non-Texas event
Oh,
since World War II, which was CWO Anaheim, which was our first event ever. Every other event that I went to was in Texas. So
love that.
yeah, so it was great.
Do you have a biggest regret of Miami?
Uh, yeah, I mean, probably. We ended up like I didn't get a big enough room, I guess, so that kind of sucked. Like it was a two bed, fits four people, and I was like, I'll just sleep on the floor. Well, we get there and the guys are like, dude, there's no spot for you to sleep on the floor. Like they're like, I'm just being honest. Like everyone was pissed this morning getting up, and there was only four of us, and there's no way. And I was like, well, I'm coming, so I'm not getting another hotel. And they were like, oh well, we sorted it out. So I ended up staying with Avo and his team,
Oh,
Vega
nice.
and them, and I slept on a like fold out couch, me and Scrobby, and so like it was fine, but not having a bigger room to where I could stay with the team, like it was weird on that event. Like I've never not stayed with the team, so like it was just I was like, I guess I'll see you guys later. The team I'm staying with leaving, so I'm not trying to pay for an Uber by myself.
Yeah, no. Needs must, right? Sometimes, and like, do you really want to pay for two hotels in well,
Yeah.
Fort Lauderdale and Spring Bay? No, it's expensive
Nope.
enough. But yeah, it is what it is. I mean, you got out there. You got a credible place in it, in my opinion. The players probably disappointed, but when aren't they? I mean, you've done the brand well, and it's a double around. So I mean, for me,
Yep.
that unless there's anything we haven't touched on, for me that is the Miami segment done. And on to segment 3, revived future in challengers. I mean, this we could go all day in this segment. I feel like, but the biggest one for me is that obviously you had the roster as you said, Keza, Pack, F. Dot, and Twisted. I mean, Twisted has stepped away from competing as he couldn't attend Toronto. I was told. I don't know if that was for exams or what. He had a great year. Like for me personally, he had an exceptional year. Was this a surprise for you that he was stepping away, or like did you pre-know?
No, so I didn't. I had gone into the event and knew they'd all talked about it, and uh, I've talked about it, and I know that challengers teams are fickle and that like they usually only last one cycle, and so blah blah blah. Like I knew changes were probably gonna happen, and so after the event, like I'm thinking like, all right, so if this person leaves and this person, or if they are doing this, or maybe this person tries to go up, I'm like, all right, well, what I need to do is just do what I've been doing, which is keep Twisted and build around him, and we'll figure it out. Because that's what we've done. Like he was on the first roster, he was on the second, the third, the fourth, like all of the rosters, the iterations, he's the only thing that stayed the same. And so, I was talking to Saturday night. Yeah, Saturday night I'm headed home in the Uber with Vega, and me and him are talking about content, and how like my advice for him, what's been big for us, all these things. And I was telling him about like how it's been great that Twisted's been here the whole time. And like, as I'm saying that, he DMs me and he's like, "Hey man, nobody really knows this except for the team, but I'm not gonna be playing. I'm gonna step away because I'm not able to go to Toronto." I was like, "Oh man." It's like, "What's wrong?" I was like, "Well, what I just told you is all void now because he's not able to play. He's like, I'm sorry, but I'm just not able to go." And I'm like, "Oh, that sucks." And so like I agree, dude. He's been amazing all year, extremely consistent. So I'd been thinking, I was like, man, like if we could keep him the whole year, like one, that'd be awesome, and two, like I'd be proud of that. Like, so that really sucked, and so I was hoping that maybe he'd be able to keep up with his pro points and like be on the Lizard squad with the guys
Yeah.
like Fuds. And just yesterday he DM'd me and he's like, yeah, he's like, I'm pretty sure I'm just gonna step away this year completely. And he's like, I don't want to put in time and be frustrated with it anyways because I know what level I hold myself to and I won't be able to do that. And I was like, oh. And then he tweeted out that he was doing that. I was like, gosh, dang it. So, because I was like, maybe we can come back together after Toronto, and it's not gonna happen now. So,
I mean, all I'm gonna say is we see it all the time. We see like the Zabi Alonso like retired gifts, or they'll be like, "Yeah, I'm completely done." And then next 2K bracket pops up, and it's he's playing in it. Oh, he's playing in the
yeah,
elite quals. Like I don't know. I can't talk for Twisted, but would I be surprised if I saw the man playing in 2K off a previous history of other players? No. I,
yeah, me either. Honestly, I think that he will play those things. He did tell me. Now, I mean, you never know what's true or like what ends up happening when it comes time to it. But he did say probably wasn't gonna try for the elite this year or this stage. So, but we'll see. I mean, my thing is, I told him I was like, you'll make it. Like, I'm pretty sure you'll qualify. So, like, you could scrounge together a team and like you tend to make the best out of whatever situation you're in. So,
well, there's free money
uh,
if you qualify, right? So I mean,
that's what I was like in my head. I'm like, dude, I would just try because if you make it, like, even if you lost every single match, you make money. So, free money's free money.
I couldn't agree more. And then Obviously, it's sad if it is true and we don't see him again all season. It's sad because I think great bloke, incredible shooter. So hopefully we see him
Yep.
back soon. But that leaves, obviously, out of that roster, we have Keza, Pack, and F. Dot. Now, we've seen the rotation tweet out the last couple of days. F. Dot, Pack, Dizzy, and BB Connor. So Pack and
Yeah,
F. Dot, they found two new people. I mean,
I did.
I don't know if this is the revived roster. I mean, I don't know how far we
I
want
get
to stem on this. I mean, I don't know if have F. Dot and
so
Pack left or are they staying?
so this is what I will say. The whole like CDC intel and rotation, like rotation hasn't tweeted any of this necessarily, but CDC intel saying like, oh well, this team's going to be playing under this spot or this person's elite spot and all that stuff. They've been right about a lot of things. That stuff has not been as much correct. So I won't say who we have. Well, let me say this: when does this gonna come out?
Sometime this week. It could be Monday. It could be Sunday. We're open to it. We can go whenever.
Hmm. That makes me think that could be kind of cool to do like an announcement. We'll just leave it in suspense. But
I
um,
think we've had our
nah,
answer, to be honest.
yeah, I know. So I'll just say it, and we can if you can just wait until
It's
we
fine.
announce.
Yeah.
Okay. But we're picking up Pack, F dot Dizzy and Connor, and so there was I'm assuming I'll just say it because the other roster's been said who they are and um been leaked and all that, which I want everyone to know wasn't me who leaked anything, but I already knew all these before they happened and I didn't tell anybody, so it wasn't me. But the original roster was um Felix, F dot, Sukri, Wardy,
Yeah.
and Denza, and they were gonna play for us, and um I had some feelings about that roster, and it proved to be true. Like right after they, like so, yeah. I'm not gonna go into all of it,
Yeah.
but we uh we were gonna have a meeting and talk to them, and then uh Clutch Rain dropped Raffy and Henry and picked Benza and Wardy up, and so then in my head I'm thinking, okay, probably like this is just me because nobody told me anything for this one, but I was like, all right, so Raffy, Henry, Felix, Sukri, or Felix, Keza, or Felix somebody. Like I was like, that's probably what's gonna end up happening. And then Felix has been sick the last 2 days, so he hasn't really been DMing me. And I had a thought and been told that Pack was probably going somewhere else. Um, and it didn't happen. And Felix wasn't DMing me yesterday because he's sick. So I was like, screw it. I was like, I'm trying to be like giving Pack space and give him like, be like, all right, man, I get it. Like, it's no big deal. So I just DM'd him. I was like, hey, man, I know that like it's a possibility you're moving on. And like, if that happens, like, super happy for you because I know it's a good thing. But if you're not, can you tell me what's going on? And so he told me what he was thinking. And then as he's telling me that, then the other roster is leaked, which is Chunk, uh,
Yeah.
Sukri, Rafi, and Henry, right?
That's
And
the
so
one.
that one, um, and this is speculation because nobody said anything, but I'm assuming that some other people were possibly teaming with some of those people before, and so there were people who were not happy about that
Yeah.
on the timeline just from their tweets. So that's just public knowledge. But so then he tells me, "Hey, I'm pretty sure this is what's going to be." Um, and so I was like, "All right, well, let's move into it." So that's what we're going to be doing, looking into uh, Elite Stage 2. And so I'm assuming because Dean isn't playing Twisted, and Kez is on a different team, that since we kept two of the players, that we get our Elite spot. But if
Yeah.
not, the other two players were on an Elite team. So I'm assuming they'll like. So that's why I don't really know where all the Elite spots are going to get divvied, but
Yeah, it's a bit odd. You should get yours right because Twisters are
Yeah,
playing and then Pack and F dot stay, so they should get the they should
I'm
get it.
pretty sure.
Yeah, you'll definitely
What's
get it.
going to be interesting is I'm pretty sure one team's going to get screwed because there's a new team from what I'm seeing that's going to be formed due to like Afro coming back and Journey coming back. Like that made a new team. Like there's too many players, so somebody's going to have to qualify again, and I don't know who it's going to be.
Mm,
Right? Because
it's a good question.
Noctum, I'm pretty sure has a team.
Um, I'm gonna be honest. I mean, like I'm not. I don't know. Like yesterday, so this is. I mean, this is a good point of like what you were saying. Like you'd never know. You don't know what's going on. So yesterday I was at the event. Genesis was there, which he was playing under us before Miami.
Yeah,
I was like, yeah, mate. What's the plan with the team? Like, is it sticking? Because like obviously we've heard nothing. There's been no leaks. He goes. Well, what I will say is we're scrimming Monday. So to my knowledge, everything's sound. I drive home an hour later. I load up Twitter. Chunks with them. I messaged him and he
yeah.
said he goes no, I did say there was always a possibility for this. This is what happened, and like
Yeah.
it's just a fine example, and it is what it is. I mean, it's interesting, but I honestly I don't know. I have
Okay.
absolutely no idea what's going on
Well,
with the roster.
I will say that from what I've heard, you guys do have a team, but that's where I'm like, it seems like there's one too many teams though, but I don't know. I just don't know where the extra two, because there's two guys that got added. There's got to be two that come out. I just don't know where those two
Yeah,
technical people, where they are and what team that is, because
Qual's gonna be hard.
somebody, yeah, which that also will mean that, like, I will say this, whatever that team is, I'm going to assume they're going to qualify. But that does make the competition just that much better for the elite stage too, which is a good thing. I'm cool with more competition. Like you got to beat the best to be the best. So
Yeah, I'd like to see is like some. I think Paul played last time. I think there was one group that well, I think it was the Noctum group where it was like 5 good teams. I think Noctum were the ones that fell out, but I think like the other pool, like respectfully, like 22. I think it was K2. Like there was
hmm
a big gap there. I'd like to see some more competition across the board. To be
yep,
fair, and I think we will because like there's players like Rezi and Gel that they're still lingering around. They've got the pro points. Like they're going to
yep.
be in the qualifiers because they don't have a spot. Like if they play, so yeah, I don't know. Qualifiers are going to be hard. And I think for the rest of the pack, there might be like one spot for them all to fight over
That's
realistically.
what I mean. Like it's gonna be tight. Like I I will be because so there will be four new teams qualifying, but there's gonna be possibility of one at least. I'm assuming team that's gonna be coming out that shouldn't be. And so I just it's gonna be wild. Like qualifiers are gonna be fun to watch, and it's not gonna be stressful because none of us should be in it. So that's nice.
No, yeah. The more COD, the better for me, to be honest, because like today, I'm like, it's a Sunday. I'm like, where's the 2K Sunday? It's like, oh, it's
I
not here.
know.
So
I
yeah.
know.
But I mean, that does leave one bloke though. I mean, I don't know what you can say. I mean, just say what you can. Keza, I, the man's in dark. I've seen no leaks from him. I've seen no FA posts. I've got no idea.
Yeah.
I mean, anything for us on the Keza front because he's like that man's incredible.
No. I know. I feel the same way. I like Kian a lot, and I have the utmost respect for him. And so, like, this one was hard for me because I is kind of the same way with Dean. Like, he's now he was off of our team for a little bit, but he was on the original, and then he came back, and so he's competed both events for us. Um, so I like him a lot. He's a really great person. So that was hard for me to go with a different team that he's not on. But from what I know is he does have a team, and I really like his team. Like I was talking to my fiance about it last night about how I was feeling about it and what how I was feeling because I was a little torn about it. And I was like, honestly though, if like the team that I'm going to have uh didn't exist, like or there wasn't an opportunity to have them, like I would have jumped to get his team because I like lots of the players that are on his team and he's on it. So I'll say this. Uh, people need to watch out though for him because he's told me he's on like a revenge tour and it's lit a fire under him. So people thought that it was gonna be like he's gonna fall off because of this. I
Oh dear.
highly doubt that.
Fair enough. I think he's incredible. I said I think he's at the start of the year. I think he's one of the players that can add anything to any team. And every time he's put on like a roster that has a question mark around it, or like, will he fit in here? You know, will he milk? Or like, he's always just stepped up, and he just like each time I see him, he just seems to go one more up the ladder. So I think his ceiling's really high. I really think he
I
could be on
mean,
a big team
Land
next
too.
year.
Like he
Yeah.
at Miami at least, like especially in S&D. I mean, him and Twisted. Like I will say, that's the one thing that um I do think will take our new team time is to get the S&D to where it was, because other than losing to Temp and them 6-0, which was bad, I'm pretty sure we didn't lose an S&D the whole event except for that, and that was a bad one. But like they, Keza and Dean Twisted, I mean, they had so many like clutches. There was one where I'm trying to remember who it was against. Oh, was it maybe in the last 2K against Team War where one of the round 11s he got a 1v3 and almost got to the bomb, and then it ended up just being like half a second too late. But like him and Twisted's clutches are crazy, but then like the numbers that they put up on land like for S&Ds was nuts. So um it's definitely not a thing based off of that. I can definitely say that. Like he's so good on land. He's always been good, so I don't think that's changing.
No, no. Just like we know like as part of the background staff, the org owner, like realistically, you have no control in these roster changes. Like, sure, you can be like,
Yeah.
we don't want you to bring this person in because he's a walking TOS. It's bad for the brand. But other than that, like, you realistically have no say, and like you build relationships with these players. Like when someone like Keza or Twisted stepped away, like it's hard not to get in the feels about it because yeah, you spend so much time with them, you've invested in them. It's like that's part of the game, I guess. That's part of part of being an owner. It's one of the downsides. You have
It,
to let people
yep.
go.
Yep, and it definitely is, and that's the part that I always will struggle with, is because I'm definitely a relationships person. So like I'm like, and that's like, uh, it sounds like I'm tooting my own horn, but like that's the thing that we're known for, is like we always take care of the players. People know that we're always gonna have their back. We are a loyalty thing, and so that's what's hard. Is that to me, I feel like I'm going against that, but I know that I hope that he doesn't actually think that, but um I mean, at the end of the day, I still have to do what I think is like the move that's going to make us the
Yeah.
progress the most and grow. And so that's what I had to come down and do at the end of the day. But I still think the world of. I just wish our team could have stayed. Truthfully, like if I could go back, like I just twisted whatever is the problem. Like I'll fix it. That's what I feel like.
Yeah, it's hard. It's really hard. But I mean, this new roster that you've got, the F. Dizzy Pack, PB Connor, is that the roster that's looking to go to Toronto? Will you be at
Yeah.
Toronto?
So yeah. So I'll be there. The plan is for that team, and I mean that's long ways away, so you never know if that team's gonna last that long, but that's the plan. Is for stage 2 and Toronto. I've had the pleasure of meeting all these people. Like I met Ty and Connor at the event and seemed like lovely people. I was rooting for them because they're under V7, and that's Nile and Aspect, so I was rooting for them. And shoot, we freaking played that team every single time in the 2K the last two. So I know what they're capable of. The guys have all played with each other for forever, so I mean they know each other. So we'll see how it meshes, but that is the plan.
Oh, love that. And do you plan to stay in EU challenges for the rest of the season? And will you look to expand to the NA challenger pool, or is it just gonna be strictly EU?
Definitely looking to finish the year in EU. I don't see myself going back to NA challengers, but time could change and challenger scene could change, or the CDL could go under and it goes back to CWL, and maybe it's better then to go back. I don't know, but definitely don't look to, I'm not looking to change out of EU. I like the scene. I like the people that are in it. I like the work that you guys do at Noctum. I like what you do with the pit. Like, I like what we are kind of building here, what Katana's doing. Like all these things, like there are versions of this in NA, like with the like premier circuit that they have going on and the different leagues and stuff. But I kind of like how more tight knit it is here,
Mm.
and I'm trying to help in ways I can. And like with this league that's coming up with Katana, like trying to get higher echelon players to play in it and not think that they're above the league, like playing in leagues, or feeling like they're going to get kicked out because they're too good,
Yeah.
which apparently happened last year to a couple players on my team. So,
Right.
um, yeah, so they were pretty not like they didn't want to do it because they're like, well, last time we did this, they basically made us quit so that other teams would play.
Right. I don't know how to respond. I don't know what to
Yeah,
say to
it's
that one.
crazy, right?
How dare
Yeah,
you be good at Call of Duty, boys? How
I
dare you?
know. They were like, well, the other teams apparently said they weren't going to play if they were still in it. I was like, what?
Uh,
To me, that's so crazy. But then I talked to Heffy, and he's like, other players need to get better then, or the org needs to get better players. Like you have all the opportunities in the world to figure something out. So I was like, nah, I like what he's doing. Like this Katana League that's coming up is going to be awesome. Like I can't wait.
yeah. Fingers crossed. The more good things in the scene, the better for me. And I mean, one final thing I've got on the revived future and challenges content. How much are we pushing it? What's the plan? Any leaks? Any envisions you have?
So because I won't be going alone, and my fiance will be coming with me to Toronto, I'm gonna try to get some video content a little more than I did. That's what's so hard when you do it by yourself. Um, like I'm sitting there like trying to keep everything updated, like tweeting, DMing, whatever I can, but also then getting reactions or uh videos or like I wanted to do like after action reports for like after we won, like that was my plan. I was like, all right, we're gonna do like video and like during the thing they were like, do you still want to do that? I was like, dude, I don't have time. Like I was like, I don't know. Yeah, I'd like to, but I don't know how I'm gonna do this. So like because she's going with me, like maybe I'll be able to do a little more of that. We just got a content creator, streamer not too long ago, and so she's been putting out some of her stuff and streaming a bunch, and like we're pushing into it a little bit with that kind of stuff. I've thought about doing watch parties, but um, like during 2K days and stuff, but I don't have the base for that, so I'd have to team with someone to do it, and so stuff like that. There's thoughts and ideas, but nothing super concrete.
Uh, watch parties are fantastic. Like I love them, but at the same time, like they're time consuming, right? So like you have to have your entire day free basically, and like there's so many moving parts. Like sometimes it's not physically possible. So
Yeah.
yeah, I've just, we need to see player streams. I think that's the main part. Like we need to see player streams, and obviously if a brand wants to watch party, like they've got the option. They can put it up when they want. They haven't got like try getting the lobbies or the correspondence. Like it will just be easier players if we can stream. Like you've made your lads do it recently, or not made them, but incentivized might be a better way to put
Mhm.
it for them to stream, which I
Yeah.
think is fantastic. Hopefully, some more people can do that. And I mean, yeah, I mean you've kept Pack and Dot as well. I mean, how big have you found that from a brand point of view? Have you seen any benefit from the
Yeah.
brand point of view for it with them both streaming?
So 100%. And I would like as soon as you brought this up, I was like, crap, we do need to talk about this.
Yeah.
Like that is a huge part of why they're like that's part of why that team is what it is because I know that they will stream things and then they stream rank play. Like all these opportunities for them, and then we went and got them these banners made from Holly and stuff on their Twitch, and so now they're seeing the Revive Twitter, they're seeing their Twitch, their personal Twitter, they're seeing our logo, they're seeing it like all these things. They're very good at promoting us, but not like making it seem like it's a sellout stream. We did the controller giveaways for both of them where their subs increased from 10 and 15 to 100 and 200. And I looked at Luke yesterday, he's at 282 subs right now. Like
Incredible.
the growth for them has been crazy, But because of that, when we got them, we were at 323 followers on Twitter. Like we don't have a big following. Now we're at 402.
No,
So
that's huge.
it's yeah, like it in like the exponential amount of growth has been giant. And did I have to spend money on those controllers? Yep. Was it investment though? Yes. And it also incentivized them to stream, and then they kind of like doing it now. It doesn't feel like a chore. And then they've had so much fun doing it on 2K days, like especially on the Saturdays, because it's not as stressful on those games until like maybe the last one's a little bit, but
No, they
like
were still
they're just
trolling on the last one.
I know. And so like it just is a way for them to build their brand and help build mine. And we have some ideas coming up for the next one of like maybe a giveaway and um like a sub wars maybe we've thought about between the two of 'em. Like we've had a bunch of different ideas cooking for that, but I think I get more excited about it than they do a little bit, but that's been super big. And I still don't get why more teams don't do it. Like, if you've got the net to do it and it's not going to act, because I tell them, I'm like, guys, if you actually feel like you're getting joked because you're streaming, like, turn off your stream. The
Yeah,
winning comes first.
yeah.
But if you're able to play and stream and it doesn't affect you in that way, then you should, because it's one, free revenue, two, free branding, three, it's creating a chance for this scene to grow. Like, there's so much about it.
Well, I think now, like specifically, I mean, you might have thought it yourself. Like F. Dot and Pack, I don't know what the process was. They come to you, they're like, "Oh, we've got a new team. You know, Dizzy and Connor are joining us. Are you interested in picking the team up?" You're probably looking at it and go, well, yeah, probably, mate, because F. Dot and Pack are both streaming, and that's a great asset for our brand. It's highly beneficial. And like, if they left you, like someone else is going to perceive that the same way. So they're just building their brand. And I mean, every organ we talk to is like, that's such a huge part. Like, if you want to elevate yourself to that next step, it's massive. And hey, just props to you. I mean, anyone that's not familiar with the Revive brand, honestly, not just saying this because the man's here. They're one of the ones that are keen to push content. I mean, they're incentivizing their players. I mean, I guess just watch this space because they're cooking up a storm. To be honest, I love it. But
Hey,
um,
the hoodies are coming out soon where you guys can
ooh,
order them if you want.
when are they
So,
out?
well, technically, so my mother-in-law or future mother-in-law, she owns an apparel business that she does, and so I just have to go over there and ask her to get the logo, and if somebody wants like the letters on the back, which you don't have to get, I don't ever get it because I just like wearing these in like public and
Yeah.
not having it to be like that, but um. I just have to order them, and then she'll get them, and then I can go over there and make them. So it's like what I think I'm gonna do is make a Google form, and if anyone wants to order one, they can like pre-order it, and I'll have those. And then once they're made, I'll have them pay for it, and we'll have the prices up on Twitter and stuff for whoever wants to do that. But they're pretty like it's pretty like minimal, I would say. Like so, it's just the logo in the left side above your like chest, and then that's it. So it's like the way I thought of it when I made them was that I've always liked simplicity when it comes to
Yeah.
clothing. Like, so I was like, all right, well, things that I've always liked is like the Russell logo on the like just like a sweatshirt or a hoodie. It's just a small logo on the chest or like Nike, whatever, and it's just there. And then that's it. The rest is just plain.
Yeah.
It's just something you can wear. And I was like, well, I'm gonna just do that. So last year when we made our apparel for Texas, that's what we made. And so I was like, all right. And then I got a bunch of compliments on it. And I was like, all right, well, maybe next year after an event that we wear it, I'm gonna put it out there. So it should be going live soon.
No,
So
love that. And we'll be pushing that when you do. I mean, absolutely love it. I think it's something that I want to see more of within the next year or a couple. There's a lot more organisations in the space push the merch out because it's a great way for the org to earn money, quite frankly, which needs to happen more to make our scene more sustainable. So the more merch, the better, and everyone go buy yourselves a hoodie when they come out. But I have got one final thing for you. I've
yeah.
noticed it myself. Obviously, we asked for the logos for the graphics from yourself, and I see you've got a
Mhm.
white version and you've got a black version. Is there ever potential that we see a revived white and a revived black roster? Would you ever have two rosters at the same time?
So we did that last year. That's why, well, there is that, but also I think I hold shift, one of the casters, he asked if we had a black one because I don't know what the word is. The graphics they were using was a white background, and so
All
he
right,
knew
yeah,
that it wasn't gonna work as well, and so he asked if I had one, and so I had one made quickly. And then for Texas last year, we had two rosters, which was Revived Red and Revived Black, and so Red wore the white hoodies and got the white logo, and then Black got the black hoodies and the black logo, and so it's a possibility. It just depends on the situation though, because I can tell you this, I will never spend full funding of two teams again in my life. So um, there's possibilities of being multiple teams, but it's
yeah.
yeah.
If the right opportunity came to your
hmm
desk, yeah. I mean, that's just this scene
Yeah.
in general. But I mean, somehow it's been an hour already, and I'm going to be honest, I'm not too sure how. So that's the end of the segment. So now we're going to guest time. I mean, is there anything you think we haven't spoke on? Anything you want to talk about? Anything you want to ask me? Anything you want to promote? I mean, basically, this time right here is yours. If you want to use it, you can. If not, you don't have to.
Let's see. Ooh, what do I want to talk about now? I just want to take a second and just shout out all the people that are doing content, and especially in the EU scene, like you guys, Knocked 'em, CDC Intel, Rotation Ant, like us for what, like, I'm not gonna, you know, boast on myself, but the all the DMing I was doing during Miami to make sure people were getting scores, maps, all that stuff. Like, but the reason I did that is because I know that that's things that you are doing and Ant's doing and all these people are doing, and they're just doing it to make sure that other people know what's going on. And I think that's why another reason I like the EU scene so much is that everybody just helps everybody. Everybody's looking out for each other. We're trying to make this thing bigger, grow where it can maybe sustain itself if something happens to the CDL. Like, so I just big shout out to everybody who's doing content on challengers, because it's keeping it like, oh, I almost forgot the reach out, like Marky and them, like that's huge. And I'm not gonna lie, I've left some comments on the reach out about like, hey, like you don't have to just shit on revived, or
Oh no.
you could mention us when we win and not just talk about the other team that lost. But it is what it is. But it's still awesome that they're doing content, and everybody needs to keep doing it. Like, don't, like, just because of views or might be down or you feel like it's not growing, it's like nobody should stop, because this, I feel like this year especially, like the content has been amazing, and so we just gotta keep it up.
No, completely agree. The more like, even if someone looks like does something they think is absolutely crap, just post it, mate. The more content, the better. Like, we don't care about the levels. We don't care how well produced it is. Like, any content in this space, honestly, is so needed. And like you say, I feel like, let's take away the structure and everything that is coming from the top dogs. But I feel like the actual scene itself, everyone around it, like all the brands, are starting to they're starting to pick up traction again. They're starting to get some more passion in the scene, and I'm feeling like it's going full circle. I don't know about you, but I feel like there is a bright ray of sunshine behind the very stormy cloud that's going to appear soon.
I think so too,
Yeah.
completely. And I like I have said it already, but I really think that this Katana League is about to change some things, because the orgs that are involved are extremely interested and heavily invested. And when this next LAN happens, like it's gonna be nuts. I'm like, depending on when it is, like there's part of me that really wants to fly over there.
No,
Now, like
I'd love to.
financially feasible, I don't know, but like I'm so excited. So
No,
there is definitely reason to be hopeful.
no, I completely agree. And like, I think there's if we can't build the ecosystem we want from the top, like maybe we can build our own sort of ecosystem, in and around challenges where it becomes sustainable itself, without worrying about the friendship franchise league, as people call it. Well, it's the
Yeah.
way to put it. But yeah, I mean, fantastic. And I mean, you say coming to Middlesbrough, I mean, it might make more financial sense rather than you sending your team out to America. You got to send 4 people. Just send yourself to
I just
England,
said
mate. Yeah,
myself,
just send
yeah.
you. Just be a bit cheaper. But,
Yeah.
no, I mean, no, that's incredible. So I mean, I guess that's it. I mean, Nathan, I mean, it's been a pleasure. We're going to be dropping all of Nathan's socials and Revive socials down in the comments below. Please go check them out. Go show the love on the Revive Twitter. That's a big one. Make sure you go follow Revived on Twitter. And anyone listening on Spotify, please hit the review. Anyone watching on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. And I mean, Nathan, just honestly, thank you so much for coming on. It has been an absolute pleasure.
Agreed, man. It's also always good to talk COD with you.
We could talk COD all day, every day.
I know. It's really nice to actually do it in person instead of just through
Yeah.
your Twitch stream, because I'm like, man, this is so I can say all the things I'm actually thinking instead of just having to type and wait, type, wait, type, wait. So this is good.
I agree. No, generally, thank you so much. And people, we'll catch you in the next one.